thank you guys so much for joining the webinar on a 4 p.m. on a Wednesday. It really does mean a lot that you guys decided to put whatever else you had going on hold to come hear us talk about cheese. Um, so yeah, so the point of this webinar is basically to share with you 10 sales tips that we feel would help elevate, for lack of a better term. I know we're probably tired of hearing that word. It's a little corny now, I think, but elevate your cheese counters, your cheese stores, and the customer experience really um, in the shop. Uh, BOSKA's been doing this whole cheese thing for a really long time, almost 130 years now. I think they started all the way in Gouda in Holland, or as we say in America, Gouda. That's where the cheese is from. They started off making cheese tools in 1896, and they've kind of had their nose to the ground in the cheese community in Europe and then over here in the States. And I think that's really what helps them make tools that are super useful to you guys. Um, right now they're based in Bodegraven, which I believe is near Gouda. It's sort of like Cheese Central over there. So they really are keeping an eye on and have a connection to the cheese community, which is why the tools are so cool and they are practical. Um, so yeah, 10 sales tips. Hopefully these tips will help you now, especially leading into the busy season, holiday season. That's probably the busiest season for you guys. Help you guys sort of make the most out of it without wasting too much cheese, right? Um, so yeah, enough with me talking. I'm gonna now pivot this over to the guys over there in Holland, Tom and Tice, but mainly Tom. He's going to be the one that walks you through these sales tips and shows you how all the machines work. Right before that, I do want to give a huge shout out to the people who sent us the cheese that we're working with. I'm sure many of you guys have heard of Beamster cheese. They sent us a nice young Gouda. Um, and I will say they've sent us cheese before here in the States, and it really is. I mean, I got like a quarter wheel of their Gouda, and I think I ate all of it in a week by myself. It really is delicious cheese. And for the soft cheese, it's Bergader, their Bavarian blue cheese. Um, they are based in the south of Germany. It's a family-owned company. They've been making cheese for a long time, and they're still really steeped in tradition in their way of making cheese. So just want to give a shout out to those two companies for providing the delicious cheese. Yeah, and without further ado, I'll I'll send you guys over to Tom, who will take it from here. Oh,
That's me.
oh my God, there he is.
Welcome to Holland. Welcome in Bodegraven. As you said, it's actually the world capital of cheese because in Bodegraven 40 million kilos of cheese is stored. So the most cheese in the world is stored here in Bodegraven. And that's why we are here. Thank you for your intro, Avinash. And thank you, people, for joining the webinar. So I'm Tom. I'm a product developer of the Pro Tools. Also doing webinars, also doing repairs. So either way, when you're at BOSKA, you'll come eventually somehow in contact with me, probably. So I will be giving this webinar. Behind the screens is Thijs. He is my beautiful assistant. Looks a bit like me, but he doesn't have a bald spot. And I do, unfortunately. So today I will talk you through the 10 sales tips. And with those 10 sales tips, I will tell you about how our tools are designed within and around those 10 sales tips and how they cooperate to create more sales and less waste. And less waste is what we want because cheese is so valuable, it's so nice, we don't want to waste any of that. So we'll start from the top to the bottom. The top one, or when we start from top to bottom, it's show, inventory, taste, help, cool, face, inspire, fresh, pre-pack, cross merchandise. But let's start on the top. Show. When I talk about show, I will come to the front of the counter for you. Here I am, again, at the front of the counter. So, show. What is important? When somebody walks into a cheese shop, what do you think he wants to see? Maybe cheese. So, as our boss always says, Martijn, he says, stacking is high, is seeing it fly. Seeing is buying. So when somebody walks in and sees a lot of cheese, he gets hungry immediately. His belly starts rumbling, and he or she or they want to eat cheese. Definitely. So stack it high. So what you want to do is to lift your counter so it looks fuller. You can do that by like cool steps like we have, which has openings for air to come through, so the mold won't get stuck up in the bottom of the cheese. We have like wooden crates to make it look more authentic. And what you also want to do is lift the back of the counter, so the cheese tilts and it looks at the customer. It says, "You want me. I want you to buy me. I want you to taste me." So what you also want to do when somebody walks in, you will probably stand in the middle of your counter and your counter is wide. So what you want to do is tilt the sides more than the middle. So the cheese is around the person, like in the cheese arena. So that's what we have done. Over there and over there, it's tilted more than in the middle. And another way to lift the cheese is with dummies. And that's where we get to the second part, is inventory. Because when you show so much cheese, but still want to keep it fresh, you can put real cheese in there. That's, yeah, if you can sell that much in a day, well, good for you, but you probably won't. So that's why we have dummies. This one, fake. This one, fake. But the people don't know that. They think it's real cheese. So put dummies in there, put real cheese on top, put real cheese in between the dummies if you want to. Yeah, and that's how you fill up your counter while still keeping it fresh. Inventory fresh. Also, other dummies, because these are little pieces. We have blue cheese, pieces of Gouda, but we also have big dummies. Here. None of these cheeses is real, but you didn't know, and the customer also doesn't know. But, yeah, probably you know. But today, one of these cheeses is real. It's for you to find out which one. Let me see. Before we start cutting, I'll go to the third one. Taste. Because when people come in your store, they obviously want to taste cheese. But taste is not only through your mouth, it's also through your ears, through your nose, through your eyes. Through your eyes, we have dealt with through the eyes, because cheese is everywhere. You can't go around it anymore. Through your ears, when you walk in a store, you want this great happy feeling. So put some music on in your store.
There we go. I had to turn audio on.
And also,
I'm wondering, can you guys hear me?
It's not bad. When you walk in a cheese store, you don't expect to smell lavender or something. You want to smell cheese. So let it smell like cheese. Let the people come in and cheese in my nose everywhere. That's great. Taste. The fourth one is help. Sounds obviously, because of course, when somebody walks in, you are going to help them, right? But take it a step further. If they come to you and say, "Hey, I want a nice cheese platter," tell them about the perfect cheese platter. The perfect cheese platter actually exists of 7 kinds of cheese. But to make it easy, we focus on 5. And the 5 cheeses are hard cheese, fresh cheese, and then red, white, blue cheese. So red bacteria, white mold, and blue veined cheeses. When you have those 5 cheeses, you have a complete different mix of different kinds of cheeses. And when you tell your customer the ultimate cheese platter is with these kinds of cheeses, they want their guests to to see this platter. With these kinds of cheeses, it's great. And also help them with the right tools, because if you have a hard cheese and a soft cheese, you won't serve it with the same knife. You do need to have those knives to sell with it, because if they really like the people who come and eat the cheese platter with them at their home, they want it to be served with the right knives. So help them. Focus on 5 cheese types. Then, cool. You really want to look cool. Cool is cool for the customer, nice for the customer to see, and it's fun for the cheesemonger. Because if you look like this, and you have your slicer, and your cheese drill, is it cheese drill? Cheese tester. With you, you look cool, and people come in the store and they see, oh, this man knows what he's doing. He really knows what he's doing.
I want to be like you.
You want to be like me?
Yeah.
Okay, they want to be like me. So we also, that's why these tools are designed this way. They look cool. We have these frames, these authentic looks, like we've been here for ages. We have been, I don't know if the cheese store has been, but it looks like it has been there for ages. So you have your cheese slicer, which you can actually use while tasting, because you have it here, you fresh cut, and you let the customer taste. That's what they want. You look cool, you have these tools. We sneak peek, this is not in the market yet, but it is coming, is the new farm crate with the full farm knife set with it. I will show it closer to you later. To you. And doesn't it look authentic? The customer really does. He thinks, oh, now I have to watch out for this man. You won't get robbed if you have this one. That was cool. And then we come to the most fun part of this whole webinar. Face, because that is how this all is designed. Face is the most important thing, because a lot of cheese stores have their counter where they cut on over here. So what happens? Customer comes in and says, yeah, I want to have a pound of Parmesan. And you say, okay, I will cut it for you. And then you do like this. You totally lost your customer. So you want your tools on the counter, facing your customer. You can cut while talking to your customer. In the end of this webinar, I have used all of these tools and I have not stopped talking to you. Maybe a pity for you, maybe not. But you can do that to your customer. Cutting while talking, while inspiring, while selling the ultimate cheese platter, while selling the cheese knives. The tools have to be on your counter. So we start with our first product, the heritage project of BOSKA, which is called the Dutch cheese knife. And this is a cheese knife you see in Holland in every store. If a cheese store in Holland doesn't have this cheese knife, it is not a cheese store. It was probably a dummy store or something. But why do we like this knife so much and not this knife? I mean, we do sell it, but why do we like this one? Well, this knife is straight. And when you cut with this knife, and your cheese is here, and you apply pressure, your whole pressure is divided into the whole length of the blade. So here a little bit of pressure, here a little bit, and here a little bit. And it can be kind of hard. But what do you do when you cut through the cheese? You wiggle. You wiggle through the cheese. So then, why is it straight? Well, the Dutch cheese knife is bent. And that is because if you apply pressure and you start wiggling, if I apply pressure right here, then you see that one little point is touching the cheese. Now the cutting board, but will be touching the cheese. So all the force I apply is focused to this point. When I wiggle, that focus point moves up. So now it's here, now it's there, now it's there, now it's there. That way you get to the cheese way more easily than with a straight knife. Next to that, this knife has one cross handle and one length handle. So the cross handle, which you hold like this, enables you to steer your way through the cheese, more to the left, more to the right. The length handle allows you to apply force on the knife. That way you can, with the best way, go through the cheese with the knife. And that is why we like this knife so much. But a Dutch cheese knife is very sharp. Really, really very sharp. Could be dangerous. You could ask Thijs, because Thijs still has also fingers, but almost didn't. Oh, beautiful. Sad Thijs. Most of the time he's smiling. Right, Thijs?
Yes, most of the time.
So, and a Dutch cheese knife takes a little practice to conquer. So, Joop and Willem Bos, some generations left, because the owner now is already the 4th generation of Bos, is they thought about how can we enable more people to cut cheese. And they came up with the Cheese-O-Matic, which is right here. So the big difference with Cheese-O-Matic is that this cuts with a wire. And the wire is strong, not sharp. Still got finger, still got it, still got my finger. So the biggest advantages and the USPs of the Cheese-O-Matic are that this whole thing can also be used as a cutting board. The knife doesn't harm the whole thing. And why do we want that? Because you always have a lack of space in your store. Always. Your counter is always too small. Build a meter next to it, or 20 feet, still too small. So this can be used as a cutting board. Then we have these cheese stoppers in here with a rounding on one side where a cheese perfectly fits into, so it doesn't slide off. When you have a smaller cheese, you tilt it, and then you have a smaller circle. When you have a flat cheese, like a hotel block, you turn them around, and you have the flat side on this one. Another great thing is the handle, which has been recently renewed. So if you think this one is a little bit different and better than my one, could be, because it's renewed. The middle part twists with the wire so that it doesn't kink, but it bends and it twists with it. There's a little curve in here, and the wire can't get stuck in between the middle part anymore, where it would damage. Then also it has anti-skid profiles at the bottom, so it won't go anywhere. And if those anti-skid profiles are not enough, excuse me, we also have the counter hooks, which can hook after or at the back of your counter, so it won't go anywhere when you pull it this way. Remember to pull it this way. We see some people have it like this. No, not like that. Like this. If you don't have an edge like this, or this counter hooks can go behind, we also have counter mounts, and those can be screwed into your counter and will hook behind these little profiles at the bottom of the frame, the aluminium frame. The wire, Cheese-O-Matic, is quite short. And why do you want that? It's short with a spring, so still can move around. But when you're done cutting, you're only here with your hand. If it doesn't have a spring, you need a longer wire. You pull through here, and then suddenly your colleague is behind you, and you hit him right in the jewels. No, don't want it in your cheese stuff. We touch cheese, no jewels. So, short wire with a spring, and it was easier cutting. Yeah, but cutting with a wire, like I said, strong, not sharp. That also means that your cheese has to be of a consistent texture. So if your cheese has like nuts in it, it won't go well on the wire, because you will drag those nuts through. So that is one downside. Therefore, you do have to use a knife. Once in a while, the wires do break. So what do you do then? I'm going to show you how to change them. So you start with taking out the handle. 1, 2, then the middle part can be split in 2. And you have the wire over here without the handle. You grab a screwdriver or a knife, but that is sharp, so maybe not the safest way. Then in the bottom you see the slider. So when you pull the wire, it moves up and down when it's over here, forth and back. And there are 2 holes which you have to align. And in the back, I am having the wire right here, so I can pull it or push it outward. And there you go. The wire is out. Then you put the wire in, which is not broken, but now it's not. It's the same wire, so you put it in there, push it through, and then on the back side you can pull the wire right in the right place. That's all. Just putting it back on the handle again. And there we go. So I think I have talked enough about the tool now. So I think it's time to start cutting. But like I said, one cheese here is real. So which one is it? Is it over there? Is it over there? It is a Beamster.
Maybe this one.
What one?
This one.
Is it this one?
Yeah, I think so.
No. Not this one. Oh, maybe here. Let me know in the chat. Do you see the right one? Where is it? Oh, there are 3 Beamsters over here. Let's say this one. No, not this one.
It's the one on the right. It's the one on the right.
On the right.
Yeah.
Is it real or is it mirrored?
No, that's right.
Yeah, that one. That's the real one.
Yes, it is. That's right one. Got already. But that's how difficult it is to see which cheese it is, because they look so real. So this one is already in half, because we didn't want to waste a whole cheese and we had another webinar. But I'll cut it anyway. So like I said, the wire is strong, not sharp. That means if you have a whole cheese and you have to cut through the rind, you need to score it first, because the rind is kind of hard and the wire won't go through. So you need to score it with a scoring knife. Like in the Parmesan set. Scoring knife is used for all cheeses, not only Parmesan. So now I will be doing like if this other half is already here. So I will put these around and put the flat set in here. Normally you use a whole cheese. So you cut the rind. Yes, there we go. And it doesn't have to be completely through. It's just for the beginning. Once the wire is through the rind, it will find its way. So you make sure the incision is in the right place. Put the wire in the part where it has been scored. And with one hand, you cut the cheese. That's how easy you do it. Once it has been cut, you don't have to score it after. Because it's already been through, rind has already been broken, and then you can just do it like this. Then we have cut the cheese in half, now already in a quarter. What do you want to do next? you want your customers to taste the cheese, and you want your customers to taste the best part of the cheese. And let me ask you, tell in the comments, what is the best part of the cheese? I bet you know. Let us know. What is the best part of the cheese? I'll read with you. No comment. You can also the freshest
Cup
cut
near
near
center.
center.
The rind.
Rind. No. No, not rind. Paste near the center, the heart. Exactly. You guys know about cheese. I see it. It's the center of the cheese. Because cheese ripens from the outside to the inside. Moist salt, it goes to the inside, or salt goes to the outside, moist goes to the inside. And that is why the paste is in the middle. In the middle is the best part of the cheese. I now see, now I don't have half a cheese yet anymore. I can't cut it like this, but you want your the heart of the cheese to be cut out. And why do you want it? Well, if you start to cut wedges with a straight tip, which I have done over here, too bad. The people who get a block of cheese like this will probably cut out the top first. It gets damaged, or it dries out the quickest because you have a lot of air here touching the cheese, and that's a waste because the best part of the cheese gets waste, and we don't want that. So we cut out the heart of the cheese first, and we can do that with the Dividomatic. Yeah, I only have now a corner, but I still will cut out the heart. I have these pins over here, which I can put on one side, and on the Dividomatic we have, if you have stored it in your counter, we have a safety pin, so can't get it up. Why is that? Because this knife is really sharp, and we don't want this machine to be left unattended like this. It has to be closed, and you have to take care when you start using it. So safety pin out, and then it's ready for you. The safety pin won't go in when it's up, because then the knife is in an unsafe position, and you don't want to leave it like this. So the safety pin can only be stuck here when the knife is down in a safe position. Now, we put the cheese over here, which is normally half a wheel, and you bring this down. And there the center of the cheese is cut out. And over here we have the most tastiest part of the cheese. Like the Cheese-O-Matic, the Dividomatic has a cutting board as a base, so it can also be used as a cutting board. No lot of space on your counter. It also is available with anti-skid profiles. It has the same frame, so everything, the hooks and skid profiles, can also be put on this frame. And like all the other tools, it's available in red and black. So now we have had this part. Let me put the safety panel on again. And what you sometimes also want to do with the cheese, when you have created this, is make the wedges. We want to make these wedges to sell. Then you have a choice, because you can use the Cheese-O-Matic or the Dividomatic, because now we have the hard knife in it. But you can also use the center knife, the straight knife. And this is the hard knife, this is the straight knife. You can put it on here, it's easy. I can do it afterwards if you want to. But for now I will use the Cheese-O-Matic. So again, I have this. I can position it the way I want. 1. Position it. 2. But then I know this is not the machine you see the most in USA, because we have another version of this. a smaller version, maybe a little bit stronger even, and that is the Cheese Commander Pro. So the Cheese Commander Pro has a little bit of a difference. For example, the handle is on the other side, as you can see, and that is because in Holland we are used to these big cheeses, 12 kilo Gouda. But in foreign countries, they tend to cut more smaller cheeses. And when you cut a big cheese, you need 2 hands to put it onto the machine. And then you don't want the handle to bring the handle to the other side and you have to move the cheese aside. No. The handle has to be over here. So when the cheese is on there, you're ready to start cutting. But smaller cheeses, it's the other way around. You have 1 hand left for cutting. So you put it over there, cut the cheese, and then it's a dummy, so it won't cut. Cut the cheese, and then it's already in repetition to continue selling. Another difference is that this is made from another plastic, which cannot be used as a cutting board. It is unbreakable, but it cannot be used as a cutting board. Knives are really sharp, and they will damage it, and you will get contamination in the parts where you have cut the machine. It also has a spring mechanism. You can have it with suction cups or anti-skid feet. And it has a little bit of a longer wire because it's smaller. So you will have this longer backlash. Yeah. Then we have another great unique thing about this tool, and that is it's unbreakable. Is it really? Yes, it is. Go here. Unbroken. And yes, it's the same one. So what we see often is that people have one of these, and at least in Holland, and when you have one of these, you cut. This is your main cutting machine, but when it gets really busy, they have this thing in their drawer and they put it out, put it on the counter, let it fall because they're stressed and it's busy. But that's okay because it's a Cheese Commander Pro, and they start cutting. So it could be a great second option. Or if you tend to cut more smaller cheeses than bigger cheeses, it could also be a good option. It's also a bit cheaper. So it's what you prefer. Then, when you have the heart of the cheese, you want your customers to taste that. So, do you cut blocks of this cheese by hand? No. That's way too much effort. So we go to the Blockbuster. But again, wires are strong, not sharp. And on the center is still a little bit of red. So we cut that off first. I will do it with the Dutch cheese knife because I have practiced. Guys, can you twist the camera a little bit? So I cut off the rind. Other knife is in the way. Wiggle. Other part of the rind. Yes. This rindless piece of heart, because you want to give your heart to the customers, so they will give their heart back. And something that's in their wallet. Anyway, here we have the Blockbuster. So the Blockbuster is our block cutting cheese blocker tool. It has 2 cutting arms with the wires in them, and the Blockbuster can cut blocks of 8 millimeters, 60 millimeters, and 24 millimeters. At this moment, we have 8 millimeters. Sounds really small. It's like this. And maybe that's because the Dutch are greedy, but also because when you have multiple smaller blocks to eat instead of bigger, more air comes into the mouth and the cheese tastes better. Tastes come more to the front. So it could be great in a salad, or as we see in Amsterdam, little blocks with each one of them a flag in it, because otherwise the Dutch will just grab and toss the whole hand of cheese in their mouth. Anyway, now I have 8 millimeters, but I want to cut 16 millimeters. So I'll change the windows because if you want to cut multiple, I want to cut 8 and 16 in a day, we advise to have multiple kinds of windows, and you can do that. So now I have 8 millimeters, take it out. And over here I have the 16 millimeters windows in the machine. That's one. And that's two. Not such big of a hassle, right? The pillow over here is plastic and can be put in the dishwasher. The rest of the tool you will have to clean by hand. But when you take this out, this is a whole flat surface, so it's really easy. Just wires to be cleaned, and also the windows cannot be put in the dishwasher because it's massive, like solid aluminium, and aluminium doesn't go well in the dishwasher. Like that. So let's create the blocks. Probably your centerpiece has a certain height and you want it to put upward first. So this is the first round. That's one. After one round we have slices, because we'll go from slices to fries to cubes. Slices. You put the window up again because for the second time you need them to go with each other. Then put the cheese back down again and make sure the slices lay flat. Then you see one is going on top, one is going on beneath. You can see it on the where they will eventually go. So this one goes first. Fries. Thick fries maybe, but fries. Then we will go with the third one. And we have the blocks. Here, Thijs, have some blocks.
Ooh.
Oh, he's enjoying. I can see that.
I'm having his heart. So good.
You can have my heart, Thijs. And you haven't paid yet, so you stole my heart.
Yeah.
Now, what we're about to do next is pack cheeses. We have cut these for the customer, and then we want to pack it. So, I don't know, you probably know the Rock. I don't know if the Rock has ever been into your store, but this is your chance to have the Rock in your store. Because here it is. This is the Rock. It's our foil dispenser. And why is it called the Rock? Because it doesn't go anywhere. You can pull the foil and it stays where it is. Stays right there. Solid as a rock. Doesn't go anywhere. Why? Well, it also has a casted aluminium frame, so it's heavy. Plus anti-skid feed makes sure that it will stay on your counter. The teeth are very sharp, really, really very sharp. So when you pull the foil down, it's no hassle to get it up. Also, there are tool rolls in here which make the foil not roll back. And why does it not roll back? Foil, when it rolls off the roll, it tends to get static, and that means it will wants to go back in its original form. So it wants to roll back. But these rolls where the foil is going through will prevent that. Next to that, the roll is really locked in a headlock in the machine. And therefore it doesn't go anywhere. So you pack the cheese just like that. So at one side is the ugly side, the other side is the pretty side. So at the bottom we put a sticker, at the top you show. Then we have another machine left. Two machines left actually. And here we have the Unica. I don't know if it will be used a lot in the USA, but I will show it shortly because the Unica creates slices. It's the most used product in Holland. Dutch people like cheese on their bread. So it's a really Dutch thing for a meal. So we like slices. So we have a machine for that. And there's no store in Holland where it is not there. So the unique thing about the slicer is that it creates wedge-shaped slices. Why is that? Thijs, bring it in front of the camera.
Yes.
So if you cut straight slices and you get to the end, you will end up with a strange piece of cheese that you can't use anymore. So that's a bit of a shame. That's something you will probably throw away or eat quickly, or you don't want it because a cheese is round. So what you want to do is create wedge-shaped slices so you cut around the cheese and you won't have loss. I think that's clear, right? So the Unica has a heated blade, which you can put harder or cooler with the knob on the front. Depends on where you are. If you're outside, it has to be hotter probably than when you are inside. And when you're cutting young cheese, which has more moist in it, it will cool down faster than when you have old cheese with less moist in it. So you can create slices up to 15 millimeters thick. And there are numbers on here, but they don't tell you how many millimeters this is because that depends on what cheese you are slicing and the exact alignment of your machine. I always start at 5 and 8 and go from there. So put it up. This is the distance regulator. So I put the cheese on there and against here, and then I cut the slice. So I actually have it in one go now. Normally, because this surface of your cheese is probably not flat, but a little bit curved or bent, this first slice won't be pretty. But actually it is today. So here it is, slice 2. Slice 3. And those are quite thick. I think I can go a little bit thinner even. Yes, here we are. Thin slices. You can also use it for very thick slices and use it for raclette. So now we have slices, fries, cubes. We have the heart and wedges, hog of cheese and wedges, slices, unbreakable, the rock. And we have one machine left because we don't only cut Gouda or hard cheeses, we also cut softer cheeses, blue vein cheeses like Roquefort. How are you gonna cut that? Well, I say you use the force, but we use the Roquefort. That's this machine, the Roquefort. So you probably know the Roquefort bow from Cupido. Valentine's Day to conquer the heart, or not? Well, this was used to cut cheeses like Roquefort. But when you cut it and you get to the end, you'll end up on the cutting board. But this machine has a groove in the middle. So while cutting, you get into the groove, like that. So Thijs, show the groove.
Into the groove.
There it is. That's where the wire will end up. So it will cut really through your cheese and not just on the bottom. Next to that, this can go into the dishwasher because this is plastic. So when you're done cutting, put this one in the dishwasher and clean this by hand. But this one has a blue dot on here. And this one, which comes with it, is a white dot in it. This is to prevent cross-contamination. If you cut multiple cheeses, you don't want this to cross-contaminate, like white mold and blue vein. This has both, anyway. It also has grooves, other grooves in there, because cheeses like Roquefort have a lot of moist in it, and it will get out of the cheese onto your counter, but not these grooves. So the moist will keep on in the machine. Yeah, it has the same look as the other 1896 collections, stable base, and a wire to cut. And then again, a wire is strong, not sharp. Keep saying it. That means that if you have cheeses like this with a label on top, or Roquefort with aluminium foil around it, you need to cut that first. So I have here my blue vein universal knife with a serrated edge, so I can cut aluminium with it, and the sticker on top. Go away, fly. So, making little incisions on the etiquette, and I can hear you thinking, why not cut the whole cheese immediately? Well, with these kind of soft cheeses, cutting with a knife can crumble the cheeses or can damage the nice cutting edge of the cheese. And that's a waste because you want those really nice and even wedges in the end. So you only use it to cut the packaging or the etiquette. And then you have this to do the rest. So put it in the right position, put it down, and I'm through. Then I release it, and it will go up automatically again, because the Rockford has a spring mechanism. So I can keep cutting, and it won't stop. Keep cutting, keep cutting, keep cutting. Very easy. One wedge. Next one over there. Make sure the groove aligns with the wire. Next one. Make sure it aligns. And here you go. So this is a cutting edge that you cannot get with a knife. Guys, please show the people. It's a really clean cut. Look at that. That's how you cut with a knife. Another great thing about using this instead of this is that when you use this, you will steer probably a little bit bent. You won't go straight down because you have these sliders where it goes onto. You can't go anywhere but straight, ending up with these great wedges. Yeah, also this has anti-skid feet. I already told this can go in a dishwasher. So now we have talked about the rock force. And then I have one thing left, and those are our knives. Because you know you have different kinds of cheeses. You have red bacteria, white mold, and blue vein cheeses. And you don't want them to cross-contaminate, and that's why we have the HACCP concept knife thing. Knives we have, the HACCP thing is a concept because that says about how you have your hygienic regions and schedules in your store. So that's why we have the knives cutting board and the cutting boards in red, white, and blue. And we have three kinds of knives. So we have the soft cheese knife, semi-hard cheese knife, and the universal knife. So the biggest difference are that the soft cheese knife has a very thin blade, and it is so it doesn't stick to your cheese. With soft cheeses like this, if you don't want to cut with this or prefer with a knife, this is the knife to go with because it's so thin it doesn't stick to your cheese. Then we have a semi-hard cheese knife, which is a lot bigger, thicker, stronger for harder cheeses when you want to cut them with a knife. Then we also have the universal knife, which has a, like I told, serrated edge to cut through packaging. It also has holes in it to make sure that there's as less material touching the cheese as possible to prevent the cheese sticking to the knife. And then we have the two tips to serve little blocks of cheese, like we've just cut here. Like that. And you can give your customer a little bit of cheese. So those are the tools we have in store for you. Next to the dummies, presenting tools, cool steps. And that was a little bit about it, I think. So then I want to ask you, do you have questions? Or do you miss a product at BOSKA? Do you want me to explain a product you know we have and I haven't talked about yet? Let me know. It's time for you to speak. Let me know. Are there any questions? Let me hear it. and I'll take a sip of water. You can also put your microphone on and speak it out loud.
Could we have a clearer view of the 10 tips? We still have, I think, 4 to go.
Yes, definitely. The meeting is recorded, by the way, and will be sent to you afterwards. Ta-da!